Welcome, everybody, back to Binford Chronicles. Today's discussion involves an organization that has dedicated its mission to saving life by helping others. And Florida needs the help. It's one of the fourth leading states to end life in the womb. Did you know Florida championed to limit the aborted baby gestation to 6 weeks of pregnancy? It's now illegal to abort a pregnancy past 6 weeks. However, there are four exceptions to this rule, which include to save the life of the mother, victims of RAPE, cases of incest, or human trafficking. With all that being said, Florida has a long way to go in protecting human life in the womb. The good news is, Florida is continuously working to protect and save all human life. I would now like to introduce my guest, Bonnie Martinelli, Executive Director of Champions CareNet. She is a dedicated Christian advocate and professional. Welcome, Bonnie.
Hello, how are you doing?
Doing great. Bonnie, CareNet has not only saved many lives, but it has provided resources, education, and options for clients, right?
Correct. That is what we do every day.
Yeah. So, how did you begin this journey to be an advocate and educator to help those facing such a difficult decision to parent?
Well, it actually began in 2001 when I was asked to be on the CareNet board of directors, and I didn't even know there was a CareNet pregnancy center here in Vero Beach. And so I jumped in the board on the board, but I had always been pro-life. I used to hand out pro-life brochures when I was 21, and that's when my husband met me. And it was kind of funny. He said how time moves on. I'm still doing that. And so I was on the board for a couple of years and also became a volunteer so I could understand what was going on in the center. And then I had to get off the board because had a scrapbook store. I was homeschooling. I was doing all kinds of things. Then I was asked to get back on the board in 2017. So I got back on the board in 2017, became the secretary of the board. And then in 2019, January of 2019, so what, 6 years ago, the executive director moved on, and I was the only board member that didn't have a job. And so I just started working 1 day, 2 day to try to find someone to fill this position. And then people started asking me to take the job. And I was like, no way, Jose. I was traveling with my husband. Our kids were out of college. And I thought, I don't know how to do this. I really don't. But they kept persisting. And then one day, God got a hold of my heart after about 8 weeks of going through this. And I realized he was calling me to this position. So I remember specifically saying in my car, okay, God, I can't do this, but you can through me. And so I took the position and I haven't had any regrets. And God really can equip those he calls. So I'm so grateful for this opportunity.
Yeah, he really paves the way. We don't know where we're heading. They tell us not to fear because God is always near, and he really is, but we still have that flutter in our stomach and the anxiety of moving forward and like, can I do this? But when we put our faith in him, we can do anything.
Amen. Yeah, he would direct me to different people. Google was my friend. I would Google things. I went to other pregnancy centers, and one of our staff here, Vicky, she's been here for years and years, and so she helped me. And then there's also a Treasure Coast in Port St. Lucie. It's called CareNet of the Treasure Coast, and we're CareNet Pregnancy Center of Indian River County. So I made friends with her, and so it's beautiful. This is a beautiful world, the pregnancy center world, as you know, Joanne.
Yes, I do know. I do know. So, Bonnie, is it fair to say bringing life into this world unexpectedly can lead to panic, depression, and sometimes self-shame?
Yes. Usually when a woman finds out that she's in this unplanned pregnancy, fear is her first things, panic. So it's usually fear, guilt, shame, and many times finances. Finances are a big concern because they think I can barely take care of myself. How could I take care of this baby? So there's a lot of things that go into an unplanned pregnancy, a lot of emotions.
It's for all people. It's not just for
Mhm.
people, it's married couples,
Yes.
right?
Right, right. We have had married couples call us and are really questioning whether they can have this baby, and single. And the neat thing about our pregnancy center, we serve anyone and everyone. It doesn't matter if you are homeless, couch surfing, an addict, or you are happily married, a Christian, and making $80,000 a year, because everybody needs help when it comes to being pregnant and then having babies. Because a lot of people don't realize we serve 2.5 years after they have the baby. So really, we can walk with a woman and man, 3 years. And so it's so beautiful that we can serve all types of people, all types of religions. Um, and it's beautiful. We, as a matter of fact, have a huge population of Haitian women, huge population of Hispanic women and men. And so it's beautiful how God has equipped us to serve all different types of people with different situations.
Yeah, it's really a godsend. You guys do such a fabulous job, and your staff is absolutely wonderful. Bonnie, we love your passion and dedication. CareNet is so important to our community. Everyone, please stick around. We'll be right back after this commercial break. Well, folks, that is the board report coming to you every Friday at 7 p.m. with the A Team, breaking down local news. If you're just joining us, Binford Chronicles is discussing the fabulous services provided to our community by Champions CareNet with Bonnie Martinelli, the executive director. Welcome back, Bonnie.
Hi, good to be back.
Well, we left off discussing the stresses of an unexpected pregnancy. Let's get into the benefits of reaching out to CareNet when a person is experiencing this kind of unexpected surprise and how CareNet can help because you have advocates that help.
Yes, yes. We have a medical staff, and we have actually 24 client advocates that work one-on-one with our moms and dads. And so when a woman first finds out that she thinks she may be pregnant, she comes in for a medical grade pregnancy test done by one of our nurses. And then if she's not under a doctor's care, which usually she isn't, then we schedule a limited ultrasound. And in this ultrasound, we can make sure that the baby is growing in the right spot, which is very, very important. At Christmas, we had our fourth or fifth ectopic pregnancy, and that's super dangerous. And because many times the woman has obviously no idea the baby's growing in her fallopian tube. But when she comes in to get an ultrasound and her HCG levels are showing that she's pregnant, but there's no baby in her uterus, then that's a problem. So this mom, her fallopian tube actually ruptured, but thank the Lord, when we saw this, we sent her to the emergency room. It's kind of a long story. And they sent her home, and then it ruptured later. So, but thank God they did emergency surgery and she's okay. So anyway, so where the baby's located is very important. How far along she is, because many women aren't really sure if they're 4 weeks or 14 weeks. It happens all the time. And then also how big the baby is. So that when you measure how big the baby is, you can tell when the due date is. And so we get to share those things with the mom. And the beautiful thing is when the mom and dad are there, we love having our dads at the appointment, because if the mom is considering abortion, but the dad comes 97% of the time, when he sees that heart beating and he wants this baby, she will choose life. So at 5 weeks, 6 days, as big as my pinky nail, if you can see it, we can see this tiny little heart beating. And they, tears roll down their eyes. They think, oh, wow, this isn't a blob of tissue. This is a creation. And another thing we do is we do fetal development education. So no matter where they stand, we want to educate them. And we say, at the moment of conception, her 23 chromosomes, his 23 chromosomes come together and make a cell. And we say, Dad, your Y chromosome determines the gender of that baby. And all the DNA is in that single cell. And so we make sure that they know that, that is a child, that is their child. And then we also show them this neat app called See Baby, where they put a camera inside the womb of a woman during her pregnancy. So if they are 10 weeks pregnant, then we can show them what their little baby looks like in the womb at 10 weeks. It's amazing.
Wow.
It's amazing. So that is just our medical side. Do you want me to just keep going?
Yeah, the technology is absolutely amazing. Some of these mothers don't realize what you can show them and teach them and tell them. This is great information.
Yeah, yeah. And many times the moms can't get into an OBGYN for 8, 10, 12 weeks because they're so full. So it's good that we can assure her that her baby's growing in the right spot. We can give her prenatal vitamins. And Dr. Presley is our medical director, and he oversees all the scans. He's delivered thousands and thousands of babies here in Indian River County. But also if this is an unplanned pregnancy and she is considering her options, what is really interesting is that pregnancy centers are really the ones that give the choices. So an abortion center gives one choice, and it's abortion. But at pregnancy centers, when she comes, we tell her, you have 3 options when you get pregnant. 1, you can parent this baby. We'll walk you through even 2.5 years after you have the baby. We'll make sure you get diapers, wipes, car seat, cribs, strollers, high chair, clothes galore. We have everything in our baby boutique for them. And then the second option is adoption, which is a very, very loving option. The only problem is not many moms choose adoption. So we're really praying that more of our moms that are considering abortion would choose adoption. And we partner with 3 different Christian adoption agencies. We have advocates that will work with them that have either been adopted or placed a baby for adoption. We also have a post-adoption program so that, we can just continue walking with them. And then, of course, the third option, if they're still considering, is abortion. So if they are still wanting to have an abortion or they're wanting to know their options, one of our nurses, with permission, we always ask permission if we can explain what a chemical abortion is and what a surgical abortion is. And usually they have no idea the ramifications of abortion because they're just hearing all these things on social media. But a chemical abortion, sadly, now is done 67% of the time, 63 or 67% of the time, which is really, really sad. It's horrific because they can get these abortion pills in the mail. There was recently like 70 different websites you could order abortion pills in the mail. Many of them are coming from overseas. So when we talk to a client, we don't know if those abortion pills are on her nightstand and she's just waiting to take them. Mm-hmm. And so so we've talked to many women who have had a chemical abortion and who have had a surgical abortion. And chemical abortions are much more difficult for the mother because she's sadly aborting her baby in her bathroom all by herself. Usually she hasn't told anyone. It's extremely painful. And she literally delivers her baby. And
Wow.
A 10-week-old baby is about that big. So in Florida, the new law, as you had said, is 6 weeks. But a woman can get the abortion pill and no one even knows. Legally,
Right.
before the bill changed, in Florida, it was 15 weeks before May 1st. So legally, for the abortion pill, you're able to have a chemical abortion up to 10 weeks. So that baby, like I said, is that big, 2 arms, 2 legs, the eyes. And so if she's delivering that baby in her bathroom, I don't want to get so graphic, but you can imagine what that
That's
would be like.
traumatizing, yeah, you can't
Very
unsee
traumatic.
that, you can't
Yeah.
unsee it, and,
And then
back when you were discussing abortions, you're right, they can be very dangerous. In one state, that story of that young lady that went to another state to have it, and there were complications, but it wasn't the fact that she couldn't have her abortion in that state, it was the fact that she just had complications, and that's the danger of abortions, and it's nice that you educate people on that so that they can make an informed decision.
exactly. And that's what we want to do, give them the education so that they can really have an informed decision.
And I wanted to ask you on that note, if a patient is solely focused on abortion, do you offer any services or support for them after they've made that decision and realized that they're having a difficult time with that decision that they made? Do you offer any services for them, or are they on their own after that?
No, we do. And also, I just want to make sure and say that we never ever refer anyone to an abortion clinic. We're called often and asked where they can get an abortion. And we say, we just cannot refer you to anyone, but please come in and, we'll offer a free ultrasound. But if they do still choose to have an abortion, and we tell them, if you do choose it, we love you still. We're here for you still. And we partner with some wonderful post abortion programs. One is called Surrendering the Secret, and another is Forgiven and Set Free. So these are either done in churches, or now we are doing Forgiven and Set Free right here at the center. And these are led by women who were post abortive, and they went through all their healing. And Joanne, I can't even tell you the beauty on their faces, the freedom that they find after they go through this course. It is just beautiful. I mean, they're so set free because even though, they know God has forgiven them, they've had a hard time forgiving themselves. And
Mhm.
I even just talked to someone recently. They hadn't told anyone about their abortion, and they were telling me this story in 2019 when the movie Unplanned came out. They watched that movie and it wrecked them. And the next day,
Aw.
they told their wife, because it was a dad, it was a man, because men hurt also. He told his wife, and he hadn't shared this story in decades with anyone. And so he received healing too, because you might
Wow.
know, since 1973, about 65 million babies have been aborted. So that is a lot of hurting women and men.
Yeah, we try to be so resilient for ourselves even when we make mistakes, and we know God forgives us, but like you said, the hardest thing is forgiving ourselves,
Right.
healing ourselves. We try to be so strong and push it back there,
Mhm.
but it's as long as it's still there as long as it's still there, somehow it's affecting our life.
Right.
And, Bonnie, we talked about the earn while you learn. You were bringing up the baby store and the lessons, and before we go into that, do you offer these classes to everyone? And in how many languages does CareNet service clients in?
So, yes, we offer it's called Earn While You Learn. So you're earning baby bucks to shop in the boutique while you're learning to be a great mom and dad. And so we have over 300 classes that they can choose from. Classes that talk about their first, second, third trimester, birthing classes, breastfeeding classes. And then after they have the baby, like trying to get your baby to sleep, or whining, or potty training, all kinds of classes. They're really great classes. And so as they watch the classes and do the homework, then they get these baby bucks that they go shopping in the baby boutique. And so they just, they just love being able to go in, and the boutique, as you have seen it many times, it is so beautiful, and it's so well stocked, full of clothes and all kinds of items. And so that is really a neat program. And we offer three languages. We have, of course, English, and then we have a large Haitian population, and we have, let's see, three or four volunteers that speak Creole. And so these women mostly come in on Monday mornings, and we have up to 22, 23 in one morning.
Wow.
And they're broken into groups, and it's just such a blessing. And some of their stories are really heart-wrenching. And then our Hispanic population has grown tremendously. And we have, as you know, uh, like I think four Hispanic speaking bilingual client advocates that do lessons with them. And then also on Thursday nights, we do Bible studies with a large group. So it's really amazing how many different cultures are here.
Yeah, you're absolutely expanding. So, if you're just joining us right now, Bonnie and I have been discussing CareNet and the services they offer their clients. I'm going to ask you to stick around. We'll be right back after this commercial break. Welcome back to Binford Chronicles. That is Indian River Connections, a collaborative partnership between three podcasting organizations. That's TGI Now, Binford Chronicles, and To the Point Podcasters. It's to spotlight Indian River characters with interviews, biographies, life stories, and projects. These are the people behind the scenes that make up Indian River County. Welcome back, Bonnie. How we're moving along just great. We left off discussing the Earn While You Learn classes.
Yes. And so as these moms and dads take these classes, we can also send them right to their phones. And so if they want to watch the class at home, they can watch it at home and then come back and discuss it with their client advocate who has a fact sheet that tells you everything that is in that class. And also we let them know that we have software that shows us if they had a chance to watch the video because they get points for it. And they get points for doing the homework that goes along with it. They're just such great classes. And then if they want to do a Bible study, because we are a faith-based ministry, we never ever push Jesus on them. We let them know that maybe a client advocate might ask, "Can I pray for you?" 99% of the time they say yes, and they're happy about it. And then sometimes as the Lord leads, the Holy Spirit leads, beautiful gospel presentations happen. Or they might say, "Yeah, I want to talk about Jesus. I used to go to church, but I don't go anymore." Or, it's just amazing the things that go on in those rooms. And so not only are the women and men growing in their knowledge of being a good parent, they're also growing in their relationship with Christ. And to me, you can't get any better than that. And then also, if they are still if the mother and father are together and they're not married and it's a good relationship, we say, why not get married? Because we love, to bring couples together. And if finances are a problem, then we help them with that. We have amazing donors that will pay for the cake. We've had the cake, the photography, and of course, any church will do their wedding. Salvation Army has even offered dresses. So we say, don't let finances get in the way of getting married. And so it's beautiful. And then we try to get them plugged into churches and so that they can be discipled even further.
That's wonderful. So, what kind of classes are offered for the fathers?
So we have some classes that help him understand what's going on in her body and why she might be behaving the way she is, and just the changes in her body. And then classes to help him be a dad that he would want to be. And then so like our male advocates can also discuss things, concerns that they may have. And also with both our moms and dads, we have a reference book this thick. I mean, it is huge for if they are having struggles with housing, food, mental health, childcare, just all kinds of different things. And so we like to help refer them to different places. And another really great thing that I'm excited about that we're going to do more, we want our parents to feel like this baby isn't stopping them from getting a career. So Treasure Coast Technical College, so it's TCTC, they have wonderful programs that are inexpensive for like phlebotomy, nurse's assistant, welding, getting your CDL license, HVAC, and think some other medical ones. And as a matter of fact, two ladies were in today for a tour to see what we did, and they were surprised that in our resource manual that's in every room, we had TCTC information updated, and wanting to tell our clients, you can take this phlebotomy class, and in less than 3 months, you can have your certificate as a phlebotomist. You can go draw blood at One Blood. So we're doing things like that, which I am super excited about, because it's not just
Mhm.
about saving the baby, it's about transforming their lives so that
Yeah.
there's a change.
Mhm, and it changes this whole structure of the family, when you have a parent that now has a skill that they can go out and work and make a better earning, and it's just all for the positive, and it helps bring that family unity together because 'cause they're working and struggling together. But because it's really hard out there these days. It's hard
Mhm.
to parent, it's hard to work and take care of a child, so these services are so important. Bonnie, you had talked earlier about the structure of your staff, and you have volunteers. What are there any current volunteer opportunities that need to be filled?
Always. Everything. So if anyone has a heart, and I know I don't know if I can say this or not, but of course, Joanne, you're an amazing volunteer, and we're so grateful for you. And I remember the first time we met, and so we just like to hear people's stories and what is on their heart and where their passion and skills are. And then the Lord just leads them in that direction, whether it's a receptionist. So we have 4 hour shifts for a receptionist. We have client advocates. We have baby boutique workers. Right now, I think there's over 25 baby boutique workers. And we have about 24 client advocates, and I think close to 8 receptionists. And then we have women and men that like to do behind the scene things. Like they might have marketing experience, or they might like to do data entry, or they're a handyman, and or they've worked on websites before. So it really is exciting to know that God can bring these people with all these skills into this one ministry, and so much can happen. And at Christmas time, we always have a volunteer Christmas party, and we have just right at 100 monthly volunteers, and most of them are
Wow.
weekly. But on our volunteer base, we have 100 women and men. It's amazing. I love it.
It is very amazing, and,
Yeah.
I fell in love with CareNet. A friend of mine took me to one of your events, and, at the event, there was a testimony of one of your clients that was abortion-minded and, suffered, she was I don't know if I could say it, but
Mhm.
she was raped, and
Mhm.
she had to face that decision, do I keep this child or not? And she went to CareNet, and you guys gave her prayer, and she testified that she kept her baby, and it was the
Mhm.
most wonderful decision that she had made in her life, and she loves that baby with all her heart, and I just cried. I was like, "Oh my goodness, God is in the room." And I could feel that energy, and I will never forget her testimony because that is the most horrific thing to have to go
Mhm.
through, and she came out of it stronger than ever and had a beautiful child. It
Mhm.
just was the most touching moment. I will never forget that,
Yeah, her
and,
little guy is about 4 now. he's
Oh,
the best for.
it was the most amazing testimony that I've ever heard, and, on the subject of events, you have 2 events coming up, don't you?
Yes, yes, I'm so glad you mentioned that. So this Friday night, we're having our sixth annual Sanctity of Human Life. As you probably know, Ronald Reagan, he brought that in 1984. And so we've been celebrating that. And that's part of our whole mission. We're 40 years old, a 40-year-old ministry. And so this event is Friday night at 6:30 at Oceans, and we will be sharing two more of our client testimonies there. And also, we're showing the recording of singer Rebecca St. James. She came to our banquet
Wow.
last fall, and so that's what we usually do: show a part of the banquet. And she did such an amazing job of singing, but also sharing her story and relating it to CareNet. And so it's going to be just a nice evening. I'm going to be sharing more of what CareNet does. Allie's going to talk about our student services program. And so it's free, it's casual, and Oceans is providing all kinds of great refreshments afterwards. So if you want to come, it's at the Oceans, which is at the mall church, and it's at 6:30.
And I have this up here, right? That's
Yes,
correct.
yes, I see. That is
Okay.
great.
So I wanted to put another one up here because
I'm
you
not
also
sure if
have.
we have the newest our Walk for Life where
Yes, you do. So let me bring that up, the Walk for Life,
yeah, we're
and
just putting that all
look at
together
that.
just this week.
So let's get this out there for everybody. So tell us
Really.
about this.
Yes, and so the Walk for Life is such a fun event because people from all over Indian River County, all churches, businesses, they come together, and what they do is they collect sponsors for them to walk. And we have a 1 mile walk and a 3 mile walk. And it's beautiful. It's at Riverside Park. And so you might go up to somebody and say, "Hey, would you like to sponsor me $25 or $100?" And so that's how we raise money for this ministry. And last year we raised $80,000. So that's our goal again, because that was the by far the largest goal we've had. Well, actually, the year before we did well too. So it's this year's theme is called Walk in Peace. And it's based off of John 14:27 that Jesus says, "My peace I give you." And of course, he wants us to walk in his peace. He says, you're going to have troubles in this world, but take heart. I have overcome the world. And so we can still walk in peace, even through our crisis, our sufferings, our struggles, because everybody has them. So that is our theme. And that is March 22nd, Saturday at Riverside Park. And it starts at 8 a.m. And if you want
Ooh,
more
gotta get up
information,
early for that one, but I've
yeah,
been to that one. I've done
yeah.
that with my little Sadie Mae.
All right. That's right. I
Yeah,
remember
I've
that.
done that with Sadie Mae, and, you're what I love about CareNet is fully funded with your contributions, with everybody's
Mhm.
contributions. It is not a, charity that's living off of the government. You guys work hard for every penny that you earn. So it's absolutely a beautiful nonprofit, faith-based, but it
Mhm.
doesn't pressure you to be in the faith. You can still receive services, and
Absolutely.
it's all about love and caring and compassion, and the mother is always the most important person when they walk in the door for you. Yes. So, I would like to thank our guest, Bonnie Martinelli, Executive Director of Champions CareNet, for joining us
It's
today.
actually CareNet, the Champions CareNet. I'm so glad you said this again because we have two websites. One is CareNet Champions, and one is CareNet for our clients. So sorry, I just wanted to tell you that.
Well, I would love to have you back, Bonnie. It was such a pleasure having you and you being able to talk about CareNet.
Well, thank you so much, Joanne. I really enjoyed it, and I love sharing about
Yes.
CareNet.
Yes. Well, thank you. All right, I'm gonna send you to the green room. You can hang out back there. Now, please visit CareNet at CareNet Is it carenet.org? Come back up here. Is it carenet.org now?
InternetChampions.org. That's the site for non-clients.
Okay, I'm gonna put you back in the green room now.
Okay.
Okay, so remember, visit carenetchampions.org and see the CareNet events calendar, sign up to volunteer, donate to mommy and baby items, or to get your church involved. It's always nice to have the churches get involved, or to donate online. So reach out to CareNet, they're a great organization. Now remember to share, like, and comment. Hit that subscribe button so you get notifications of our next podcast. And thank you again for joining us here at Binford Chronicles. All right.